Happy Christmas. It's Christmas. Merry Crisis. Merry Chrysler.
Merry Crisis, you filthy animals. As always, follow my social media accounts at It's Lielers on Instagram, Threads, and X. And of course, follow me on TikTok at Lielers. Lielers on TikTok. We have officially reached over 500 followers on TikTok. Hooray! Literally right before the year ended, I still cannot believe a lot of people just started following out of nowhere, but there's a reason why. And I want to say, so remember how I mentioned last week, was it on my last episode? I mentioned that for some reason I was noticing this pattern where my video that I uploaded on Black Friday started getting like a bunch of likes, and it was just blowing up like crazy. But I don't know what happened, because now it's starting to slow down. My video, that Black Friday video, literally has 1.1 million views, and I'm like, what in the hell? And it actually became my most liked video as well. So right now the video is standing at 81.7 thousand likes, and I'm just like, that's so much. That is a lot. But hey, it is what it is. It beat Cowboy Papa, of course. Unfortunately, Cowboy Papa video has 72.8 likes, and then my third and most like is gonna be Cosmo trying to pick her man, which ended up being Tobias Forge from Ghost. And that video has 20.8 likes. That one hasn't had any likes recently, unfortunately, but it is what it is. But yeah, I was surprised to see the Black Friday video reached at 1.1 million views. I was like, man. And for those that are probably wondering, because they say that supposedly TikTok pays you. Yeah, I'm not getting paid, only because I don't have 10,000 followers. Now, I'm not saying, oh, let's try to get a 10,000. No, I'm good with what I have right now. If I do hit 10K followers, sure, that'd be great, but hey, we'll see. Maybe next year. Oh my god. But yeah, no, right now it says here that I am at 558 followers on TikTok. So if you guys have not done so, definitely go follow me. And again, make sure to follow me on Instagram too. I be posting stuff on Instagram, mostly just like little errands that I've been doing, featuring Cosmo. Cosmo's slowly growing up. She is 2 months away from being a year old. Can you believe it? We're gonna recap for sure 2023 on the next episode, since it's gonna be the last episode of this year. So we'll recap all of the things that I've been up to this past year, whether if it's good or bad, but mostly good. Like I mentioned at the end of last episode, it literally kicked off with a bang, and I cannot wait to talk about it. But anywho, this episode we have a lot to cover, and of course we are going to be including the spoiler-free version of Aquaman 2, or also known as Aquaman and the Last Kingdom. So we have a lot to cover, so let's go ahead and get this show started. So we're going to go ahead and talk about pop culture news a lot. It's a lot. We have a lot of drama, of course. We have the MCU, which I'm going to go ahead and talk about it right now. And I think it was announced on either Monday or Tuesday this past week. For those that do not know, this little news has been escalating ever since, I want to say, before Loki season 2 started, or even Ant-Man Quantumania. But the actor Jonathan Majors is found guilty of harassment and assault on a former girlfriend. The news started going out with the final verdict of what was he saying to his ex-girlfriend, and some of the things were kind of disturbing, if you ask me. But the thing is that when the Marvel Cinematic Universe, also known as the MCU, Marvel Studios, they saw the verdict, and right then and there they fired Jonathan Majors. And obviously, I feel like it's not just Marvel, it's also Disney. Disney has a no tolerance for, employing people that have that kind of background. So obviously, that was an instant hit for Jonathan Majors' career. Now, with that being said, what is going to be the future for the MCU? Of course, I've mentioned this in so many previous episodes. I feel like the MCU is already at its downfall. It hasn't been doing a lot of good when it comes to making successful movies. In this case, a lot of people are saying that maybe the whole idea of Kang the Conqueror, maybe he shouldn't be the next villain. With that being said, is because of the whole thing that was supposedly planned for Avengers 5. It was originally going to be known as the Kang Dynasty, but because of all of this, they just simply renamed it Avengers 5 and are putting the whole idea on hold. Keep in mind that this one, it was going to be we still have Avengers 4 technically is Secret Wars, if I'm not mistaken, but it's going to be split into two movies, kind of like what they did again with Infinity War and Endgame. And I know I mentioned that before. But here's the thing. With all of these movies that and even series, because I'm including the Loki series on here, a lot of people were just not feeling Kang the way how we were feeling that with Thanos. So instead of Marvel recasting Kang, why don't we just get a whole different villain instead? So with that being said, a lot of people are also saying maybe we should get Doctor Doom to become the next villain, even though we have seen him in Fantastic Four in the previous releases, and we've seen how the Fantastic Four had defeated Doctor Doom. But how can they make him that evil? Obviously, we do have to find a great person for them to cast that role and see how that goes. It's a lot of speculations, but for me personally, I feel like it's like how I mentioned, the MCU is already at its downfall. I don't think they'll go back to its peak. I feel like even with all these projects, I feel like a lot of people are just fed up with Marvel at this point. Because I've met a lot of people who would tell me, oh, I don't have time to watch all of these movies that got released. And it's like we've seen, or we've been exposed to so many new things that it's like, okay, we've seen it now. Give us something else. And I think that's how generally everybody's at. And I feel like that's how they see the MCU now. It's like, okay, we have so many superhero movies. I don't think we need another one. Me as a comic book fan, I mean, I'm still craving Deadpool 3, like how I mentioned. But when it comes to like the next Avengers, I think Endgame just, kind of like close the chapter for Avengers. And then instead of making an Avengers, we still have the Dark Avengers that needs to come back. We still have the Thunderbirds, sorry. So we're seeing all of those projects come up. Maybe we shouldn't even we don't need another Avengers movie. Just come up with something else. But again, only time would tell. Now with this whole incident that happened with Jonathan Majors, like, he had a really good promising career, but again, it's just things that happen. I don't know if it's fame or money, and I think that is going to be the lesson for today's episode, because not only we're going to talk about Jonathan Majors, we're going to talk about Amber Heard. I haven't talked about Amber Heard even during the Johnny Depp trial, but because we're going to review Aquaman eventually, that's what I'm leading off to. So now you know the moral of the story. Fame and money can change you, and can lead you to do some of the most disturbing things. And this, unfortunately, it just doesn't cut. Having that power of fame, it can lead you to get away with a bunch of things, but at the end of the day, what goes around comes around. But oh well, it is what it is. Jonathan Majors, I think he is gonna be going to prison, I think, and then eventually go on probation. I'm not sure how that's gonna go, but so far, when it comes to terms of his acting career, it is done. It's over with. So Oh well, it is what it is. Another thing that's gonna start speculating soon, and this is now gonna go to the Fast and the Furious franchise. We have learned that Vin Diesel is being sued for alleged sexual battery by his former assistant back in 2010. And from what I think is happening too is that Fast 11 is already being filmed. I saw a video on TikTok that looked like they're already recording. I think it looked like Michelle Rodriguez in a car. So I'm over here like, is it already happening? Now, with this being said, again, as soon as a case gets, picked up or, getting like the whole thing is starting to get filed, whatever, it could last for a couple of months because that's how it is. So who knows what will happen with the Fast and Furious franchise? We already see what happened with Jonathan Majors. Now we're gonna see this with Vin Diesel. They did describe, and I got this from Variety, the news source or entertainment source, however you guys want to call it. They did describe what was it exactly that Vin Diesel does, but for the purpose of this podcast, I'm not gonna say it. It is kind of disturbing. I don't know if it's true or false, but again, I'm over here like, I've heard stories of Vin Diesel. It's one of the reasons why him and The Rock or Dwayne Johnson don't get along. It's like you see Vin Diesel kind of in a negative way, especially whenever if you were to see him like in person. I hear he's rude too, so I'm like, he already kind of has like a bad like reputation in my mind, so to say. But with this be happening, I don't know what could lead off to, whether if he is gonna get a guilty verdict or not. But at the same time, I'm like, how will this affect the Fast and Furious franchise? Only time will tell, and we will see. I will obviously keep you updated as long as something gets said on social media, and that's how I get my information. Now, anywho, let's go ahead and move on with some good news. So for those that do not know, I am familiar with Warhammer 40,000. We'll call it 40K because I don't like having that mouthful on me. But the reason why I say this is because the series or movie is underway for this. I guess you can call it card game, you could call it a board game, you could call it a figurine game. It is simply a game. For those that do not know, the only reason why I knew about Warhammer was because of Henry Cavill. And this is another good news. Henry Cavill will not only be acting in this upcoming project, but he will also become an executive producer. Games Workshop has confirmed that it has signed a, quote, full agreement contract with Amazon. So if you guys have that Prime subscription like me, you will probably be able to see it. Now, they did also say this in a quote, starting with, now comes the fun part. Working out with all the creative details with our partners and getting the first script written into production. What Warhammer story should we tell first? Should we kick off with a movie or a TV show? Both? And I think I'll leave that for y'all to respond on it. If you guys do not know what Warhammer is, again, it's just a simple game where you play with figurines. You can actually decorate it as is, and then that game can go on for like hours. I've heard stories it can go on for days, weeks. I don't know. Maybe there's some people still playing to this day, and it's been years. But the story when I learned about Warhammer, it was giving me a bunch of Fallout vibes. Because I'm like, what? When I was looking at this, I'm like, what in the Brotherhood of Steel is this? But it's very entertaining, and I definitely let y'all know to definitely go check it out. They have like a series of books, they have a series of shows, movies, games. Even on Xbox you can play a few of those Warhammer 40K games, but the main primarily game that you should definitely pay attention to is the board game itself with the figurines. I know here in Houston, obviously, we're very lively when it comes to our gaming community. I used to play Magic the Gathering, so it's like if I were on one side of the store playing Magic the Gathering, there's the other side of the store of people playing either Dungeons and Dragons or Warhammer. Warhammer, it's more popular over there in England than it is over here in the States. But I know I've been to a gaming store over here. It's called Asgard Games, and I literally seen people play Warhammer before. So definitely go check it out and get familiarized with yourself with I guess you would say the franchise, the game itself, before the show does come out or the movie. And again, I know Henry Cavill, he's a big fanatic of this game. He loves it. Forget The Witcher, forget, Man of Steel or Superman, however you call it. He's been wanting to do this kind of project with Warhammer 40K. If you guys have not done so, definitely go look up on YouTube, like this interview that he does where he talks about Warhammer and how he loves it. He's like the hottest geek I have ever seen. The hottest nerd, however you want to call him. But the man is sexy himself, sweet Jesus, which is why I support this. But anywho, let's go ahead and move it along. I do have a few television news, I guess you would say. Starting off with James Gunn, he's confirming that there is going to be a series involving Matt Reeves, who those do not know, he actually made the Batman movie with Robert Pattinson. And they're going to be making Arkham Asylum series that is going to be a part of the DCU. So this is going to be very interesting, but I'm pretty sure they're not going to feature your famous villains like, the Joker. I don't think Two-Face might even be there, but some of probably the low profile villains that we might have seen in the comics, and then they're going to bring them to bigger roles. So again, people can get familiarized and start, following those instead of the main villains that we have seen. Now, I'm really excited. They haven't confirmed whether, it's going to be set into production soon, but it is already confirmed as in it's going to happen. So we just got to wait. I have a feeling it might get released probably sometime in 2025 or so forth. So I cannot wait. Another thing is, for those that are Star Wars fans, apparently it has also been announced that Star Wars Andor Season 2 is delayed and won't be released until after maybe 2025. It was supposed to release in August 2024, but I want to say maybe because of the SAG-AFTRA thing probably delayed it, and everybody's barely getting back to working on other projects before prioritizing the other things. Andor is getting pushed back. So now that you think about it, it's like, what are we going to be getting from Star Wars in 2024? But then again, I'm like, where's Mandalorian? I'm waiting for Mandalorian already. But other than that, we just finished Ahsoka, and that, I feel like we still need time to recover from that. Everybody that's fans of the Clone Wars and the whole story with Star Wars and Rebels and all of that, we're still slowly trying to recover from it. And I'm pretty sure there's other Star Wars content that you can still rewatch on Disney Plus. So feel free to do so for Star Wars fans. Entertain yourselves until you're ready to watch Andor. Just FYI, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen Andor because I was too busy trying to recover with Ahsoka. So definitely go check out season 2 before the second season comes out. Now, in other news, and this is in music, for those that are Celine Dion fans, I'm a Celine Dion fan because she actually supported Deadpool. And she did a music video, with featuring Deadpool on there. So I definitely support that. But it's kind of sad news about her. So Celine Dion's sister confirmed that Celine's health is starting to decline. And she says that Celine has lost the ability to control her muscles. For those that do not know, Celine Dion is diagnosed with stiff person syndrome, and there has not been a cure for it. And it's kind of depressing, again, Celine Dion is a music icon with those vocals, and I'm your lady. Of course, if you remember that song, if you're watching TV, you fell asleep, you woke up and you hear that song. But it's kind of sad to hear for those that are fans of Celine Dion. Again, it's not just that song. We also have Titanic as well. But it's like, I think, and that was one of my bucket list things to do, is watch her perform live. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen. If she's going to be losing mobility of her muscles, eventually it can get very, very depressing. So the only thing we can do as fans is obviously send positive vibes to Celine, and let her know that she's a warrior for staying strong. And I know it can get very frustrating, very depressing again, but sometimes we got to learn to cope with it. So send your best wishes to Celine, and don't discourage her. Just, if anything, encourage her and make her feel very, very powerful, because again, she is a powerful figure. But anywho, another thing I also found out, and this popped up on my For You page on TikTok, and I was like, why is T-Pain on here? I haven't listened to T-Pain since I was in middle school. So it's like, why is he here? And apparently T-Pain does a cover version of Black Sabbath's War Pigs. And I'm like, what's going on? I mean, I feel like we're in the new metal times again, where hip hop and rock are starting to collab. Hell, I talked about this on a previous episode where Megan Thee Stallion and Spiritbox collaborated. So I'm like, what's next? Ozzy Osbourne start hitting up T-Pain. I would love to see that collab still if I could. But if you ask me, when I listen to it, it sounds pretty nice. Like, you don't hear the auto tune that we've learn to hear, especially when he was like singing that he was in love with a stripper or whatnot. You hear the auto tune on it, but when he did this cover, you don't hear it at all. And then you're like probably wondering, man, T-Pain has talent. What's going on here? But anywho, we have a really long list of things that I gotta say for this next news announcement. So if you guys do not follow Metal Hammer magazine, I have a collection of their magazines. It covers a lot of good things of bands, but Metal Hammer just released their top 50 songs that is in the metal category for this year, 2023. However, they didn't get to decide. They let the fans, or the readers, decide who takes the number one spot. And I am proud to announce that number one spot. But we will get to that, so stay tuned. Obviously, I will go on with the list. Again, this is on the website. It's on loudersound.com. But again, as voted by Metal Hammer readers, the number 50th spot obviously was taken by Megan Thee Stallion with the song Cobra that features Spiritbox. So yay, congrats to them. Number 49 was actually Corey Taylor, Talk Sick. I was surprised, but I'm like, yay, we have Corey Taylor fans. Even though we were just talking about it on my previous episode where people were still giving him hate and whatnot. But hey, thank God, he's on the list. Number 48 was Dogma, My First Peak. And by the way, I need to make a playlist on this on my Spotify, because I want to listen to every single song that was in here. Because I'm like, if they were in this list, it's gotta be good. Number 47 was Cryptub with the song Stronghold. Number 46 was Sophie Lloyd with Imposter Syndrome. I already know. That sounds really good. Number 45 goes to Kim Dracula with 70 Thorns. 44 is Ignia with Incurable Disease. Number 43 was Papa Roach with Cut the Line. Cut my line into pieces. No, I'm kidding. Number 42 goes to Orbit Culture with the song Descent. 41 goes to Beartooth with Riptide. It's so brutal, some of these songs. Number 40 goes to Cattle Decapitation with Scourge of the Offspring. Number 39 goes to Nita Strauss, who we all know was the guitarist for Alice Cooper. She released a song called The Wolf You Feed. It sounds like, the hands you feed from 9 Inch Nails, but still, I'm pretty sure it's good. Number 38 goes to Trivium with Implore the Darkened Sky. Very brutal song, too. 37 goes to The Immunity Affliction. with I See Dead People. Number 36 goes to Cannibal Corpse with Summon for Sacrifice. Number 35 goes to Bruce Dickinson with Afterglow of Ragnarok. 34 goes to Lamb of God with the song Evidence. 33 goes to Amaranth. I think I'm pronouncing that right, with Damnation Flame. 32 goes to In This Moment with the song Damage. I'm over here like, where's the Purge? Is it even in this list? Number 31 goes to The Who with Black Thunder featuring Serge Tankian, which, we know of System of a Down, and DL. So I'm like, damn. Am I pronouncing Serge's last name? I'm pretty sure I haven't. Back then I couldn't even pronounce it. Number 30 goes to Hellstorm with Terrible Things. 29 goes to Esprit d'Air, I think, or Esprit d'Air, that's what it sounds like, with Shizuki featuring Mystique. 29 goes to Hanabi with Pardon Me, I Have to Go Now. 27 goes to Skindred with Give Me That Boom. And I'm like, this is metal? What? I'm looking at, like, it features the music videos, and I'm like, are we sure we're in the right category? But yeah, because number 26 goes to POD, Afraid to Die. 25 goes to Dead Stars, This Is. 24 goes to Voice of Bass Prot, with the song The Enemy of Earth Is You. Number 23 goes to Slaughter to Prevail with the song Viking. 22 goes to Powerwolf, No Prayer at Midnight. 21 goes to Sabaton with the song The First Soldier. 20 goes to In Flames, Meet Your Maker. We're slowly getting there. Number 19 goes to Avenged Sevenfold, We Love You. Of course. I mean, I love y'all too. Number 18 goes to Judas Priest with the song Panic Attack. Okay, number 17. I'm surprised number 17 is in here, but sure, why not? Number 17 goes to Slipknot with the song Bone Church. If you ask me, I was not a fan of it, but I guess. Number 16 goes to Tarja with the song Numb. 15 goes to Love Bites with the song Stand and Deliver, Shot 'Em Down. Number 14 goes to Bring Me the Horizon with the song Amen. 13 goes to Ice Nine Kills with the song Meet and Greet. Every time I see their band, I'm thinking 9 Inch Nails. I don't know why, but yeah, that's them. Number 12 goes to Electric Callboy with the song Every Time We Touch. Number 11 goes to Linkin Park with the song Fighting Myself. And then here comes the top 10. Already kicking off strong. Number 10 goes to VV, also known as Villa Valo, with the song Neon Noir. Number 9 goes to Spirit Box with the song Jaded, which is, again, Grammy nominated. Number 8 goes to Blind Channel with the song Dead Zone. Number 7, one of the bands I listen to, goes to Avatar with the song The Dirt I'm Buried In. Number 6 goes to Metallica with the song Screaming Suicide. Number 5 goes to Within Temptation with the song Wireless. Number 4 goes to Lord of the Lost with the song Blood and Glitter. Very brutal, but yet pretty. Number 3 goes to Sleep Token with the song The Summoning. Number 2 goes to Baby Metal with the song Metalli. And lastly, the number 1 spot of Metal Hammer Magazine's top best metal song of 2023 goes to Ghost with the song Jesus He Knows Me. And I'm like, yes. For those that do not know, there was like a ton, like they literally listed all the votes that they have received in here. And Ghost basically received a total of 12,168 votes. And I'm like, damn. And again, Baby Metal had like 5,000, Sleep Token had 4,000, and then it goes like that. And eventually, going from 500, 400, like they had a lot of votes. So you can't say, oh, it's because ghost bands are, they have a lot. Yeah, sure, but so does every other band. I'm like, if the song's good, Definitely try to vote as much, because I'm pretty sure you can vote as much as you can. But I'm telling you, I love Ghost fans. Ghost fans go all out. But congratulations to Ghost. I'm still waiting for a story post for them to say, hey, look what we ranked at. But anywho, let's go ahead and move it along, because we're slowly getting closer to that Aquaman review. And again, it's spoiler free. In gaming news, this happened for the past week. Apparently, there was a cyber break at Insomniac Games that revealed that there was going to be a multiple X-Men games exclusive to PlayStation that will last until 2035. Apparently there was a bunch of leaks, and the business itself was not happy about it. They actually released like a statement about it, the whole situation, and they say, quote, "Thank you for the outpouring of compassion and unwavering support. It's deeply appreciated. We are both saddened and angered about the recent criminal cyber attack on our studio and the emotional toll it's taken on our dev team. We have focused inwardly for the last several days to support each other. We are aware of the stolen data includes personal information belonging to our employees, former employees, and independent contractors. It also includes early development details of Marvel's Wolverine for PlayStation 5. We continue working quickly to determine what data was impacted. This experience has been extremely distressing for us. We want everyone to enjoy the games we develop as intended and as our players deserve. However, like Logan, Insomniac is resilient. Marvel's Wolverine continues as planned. The game is in early production and will no doubt greatly evolve throughout development, as do all our plans. While we appreciate everyone's enthusiasm, we will share official information about Marvel's Wolverine when the time is right. On behalf of everyone at Insomniac, thank you for your outgoing support during this challenging time." It sucks, not a lot of people like things, that get spilled and leaked, as much as there is so much anticipation for us, it is kind of sad that, businesses like this has to go through. With that being said, let's talk about GTA. So GTA also did release a little statement about what happened during the leak of the trailer. And again, everybody wanted to know what was going on. So they said that the leak trailer actually cost them $5 million and thousands of staff time hours. So you can only assume that sometimes it's not good to be releasing some of these things. People work so hard to either keep it a secret, to keep the suspense for the fans, obviously, because that's at the end of the day why they are doing it for. So it's unfortunate that both Rockstar and Insomnia Games has to go through stuff like this. But anywho, let me go ahead and move it along with other things. There is a news outlet by Insider Gaming. They report that the next Call of Duty, which is supposedly releasing in 2025, will direct a sequel to Black Ops 2, and the story will be taking place in 2030. Now, and I did mention that, most of these games that we've been getting is mostly reboots, there's nothing new. But for this to be like a sequel to Black Ops 2, I'm like, what are y'all going to call it? Black Ops 2.5? I'm going to laugh, I swear. But for those that have played Call of Duty, a lot of people do say that Black Ops 2 is the best Black Ops game ever. So it's like, forget all of the ones that we've been getting. I think we reached, I don't know, last time I played was, Black Ops 4. But still, I'm over here like, we will see if this one's going to be that good. Apparently, there's also a report that there will be a mix of new maps and remastered Black Ops 2 games. Or maps, sorry. So we will see. I'm kind of anticipating on that one. But let me find out. It's also going to be releasing in it's going to be releasing the same time or the same year that GTA is going to be coming out. I'm like, maybe I do need to go back to gaming. So we'll see. Another thing, there was another little comment that came out on social media that I guess I have to say. Apparently Zack Snyder, the homeboy who made a few DC movies like Man of Steel, Justice League, said that he would love to direct a Fortnite movie. And I'm like, shh, no. Me, I'm like, hush your mouth. I'm like, we already got the Zack Snyder cut. We don't need to be getting anything else. And I feel like, for Fortnite, you would think, oh, this game is like for kids. It's gonna be fun. And then we seen Zack Snyder stuff, and it's all serious and very, very dramatic. So I can't imagine having a dark Fortnite movie. Would I watch it? Hell to the fucking no. I'll probably talk about the trailer, but I will not watch the movie. Let me go ahead and talk about a few wrestling things, and then we'll go ahead and start talking about Aquaman. So for wrestling, there has been the reports, like more reports about what's been going on with Liv Morgan. How I mentioned in my last episode, she was arrested for possession. And now people are saying that Liv Morgan actually took the fall for someone else with the vape pen that contained the synthetic substance that she was charged with. So maybe that's why, WWE is not giving her shit like, other people before. So it's good, but still at the same time, I'm like, damn, Liv, you need better friends. Just saying. More friends. I'll be your friend. Shoot. Another thing is that they also said that Dominic Mysterio had a successful year, with WWE, that actually led to him signing what it is potentially going to be like a multi-year, probably like 5 years with the company. Not only him, but also Rey Mysterio as well. So they both signed those long-term contracts. So there's no way they're going to be leaving unless if, they tell them so. But for me, I'm like, not only this is a success for the Mysterio family, but I believe Eddie Guerrero is up and just having a proud moment. Like, I wonder how he would feel if he was still around, just seeing them, still be in the company and look at what they're doing and all the storylines. And another thing I also found out was that there is an NDA agreement regarding CM Punk and Ace Steel's incident at AEW. Now, the thing is that this NDA was signed for life, meaning that we will never know what really happened between them and at AEW. So, somebody else added a comment that supposedly Ace Steel's wife did not sign the NDA, unless if she decides to spill the beans, but who knows how that will go. But people still speculate because, we see how CM Punk is backstage at WWE compare how it is at AEW. So it's like it might have been AEW, but again, we will never know. The only thing we can know is just depending what the other people that are at AEW now that are probably like trying to get out, if they make comments later on, we will see. But I mean, for right now, it will remain a mystery and people can just theorize for all we know. And speaking of, not AEW, we're just talking about wrestling. For those that do not know, obviously Christmas is tomorrow. Yay! Happy holidays again. But this is something new that's going to be happening in WWE Raw, which I don't think has ever happened in so long. So Raw tomorrow on Monday is going to be a recap of the best moments of 2023, meaning that there is no live show whatsoever. And with that being said, the reason to this is because Triple H, since he's taking control most of WWE, homeboy literally decided he for the past couple of days, he gave the wrestlers, the talent, days off. Like, that is something that Vince hasn't even done when he was taking over WWE. What does this mean, or why is this important? So for those that do not know, these wrestlers are literally working like out of the 365 days that we have in a year, they are working probably 95% of those days, meaning that they're only home probably a week and they're all spread out, So it's hectic to be a wrestler, obviously. If you don't have family, sure, you're good, but there's people that do have families and they just want to be at home resting, and Triple H is actually doing that because, again, wrestlers are human. We're all human. We need a day off, obviously, and for him to do that, I applaud my king. I applaud Triple H for doing that. So I'm glad that they're doing that. And again, if you watch Friday Night SmackDown, you would have noticed that there was no WWE Live little caption that they usually have during the program. So they pre-recorded it before, everybody's going on vacation. So I'm like, wow, I'm like, this is pretty neat. So I'm pretty glad. So don't be expecting a show tomorrow if you guys are listening. If you already listened after Monday, well, that's why it didn't look the same. But anywho, another thing we wanted to talk about was Mercedes Money, which she was formerly known as Sasha Banks. Apparently, she has been in talks with returning WWE, but I don't think it's gonna happen because she is asking for a condition that I don't even think is even fair. The condition is that she will return as long as she gets paid more than Charlotte's salary of what she's going to be getting in her new contract. Because right now we're going through so many renewal contracts. But that's the thing. Charlotte, like right now, even though she's injured, she's going to be out for 9 months. If you were to compare Charlotte and Sasha, I know there's a lot of Sasha fans compared to Charlotte. But at the end of the day, like, the talent kind of shows right there. I don't know if it's because creative probably hasn't given Sasha, like, time to grow and whatnot. But if you notice, Sasha Banks has not had a successful title defense that is on her own. What I mean by that is because when she was a tag team champion with Bayley, yeah, sure, they were holding on to that title, but that's because Bayley's also there. Every time I see Sasha as a champion, she ends up losing it the next time she tries to defend it. And I'm not just saying WWE. That also goes for New Japan. When she had the IWGP Women's Champion, she lost it after winning it. And I was like, really? I'm like, me personally, like, I love her. Trust me. She's a fellow Aquarian. I follow her on social media. But as a talent, I do not think she deserves to be getting paid more than Charlotte. And I know people are saying, Sasha's return is going to be the biggest moment of, much bigger than CM Punk. But I'm just like, compare her talent. Actually look into it. Watch some of her matches. Then tell me you still agree, because yeah, she's good. We've seen her in Mandalorian. She's getting all of these contract deals or whatever it is because she is a star. But when it comes to the talent wise itself, I don't know. And somebody did say that maybe there is possibilities that she might just go to TNA because TNA will probably get more views and they actually have the money to offer her God knows what, and then eventually going on AEW. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't think Mercedes even wants to go to AEW after all the drama that's been going on. So again, only time will tell. But I'm like, homegirl needs to rethink about what she is worth, what she's actually worth when it comes to her skills. Not because of fame. It's the skills that matter the most. But anywho, with that being said, let's go ahead and wrap this up and let's talk about Aquaman, the spoiler-free review. I usually kick off with the Rotten Tomatoes, but there's like 2 little things that I wanted to talk about before I dive into it. So apparently with this movie being released, it is already said that the DC Extended Universe, also known as the DCEU, has come to a close with now that James Gunn is entering and creating what is the DC Universe, also known as the DCU. Jason Momoa even said himself that he's starting to doubt Aquaman's future with, James Gunn's project. And I think I know why. And let's go ahead and dive into it. So for the Rotten Tomato score, unfortunately, this is really, really low. The Rotten Tomato score for Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom is at 36% with an audience score of 78%. So you can tell right off the bat it has a lot of mixed reviews. In my personal opinion, I want to say that this movie was just like every recent Marvel movies. It felt rushed. I do have a theory that this movie had a decent length, but it felt heavily edited since they were trying to reduce Amber Heard's role as Mira. And with when I'm saying that, you already know the story with her and Johnny Depp. Obviously, I didn't get to cover that during the podcast. but a lot of people can just look it up and kind of get covered with it. So when they were already doing this whole trial, I think she already had recorded her stuff for this movie, Aquaman 2. And, obviously Amber got the guilty verdict, and, she had to pay Johnny like literally almost all of her salary. But then she declared bankrupt to avoid paying that, I guess. Again, I don't know what's really going on, but that's what I've heard. So, and because of that whole guilty verdict, instead of Aquaman recasting Mira, they decided to keep her and instead just reduce her role as much as possible. I'm not gonna spoil the movie, of course. If you guys are planning on watching it, definitely go for it. There's not gonna be a spoiler review for this movie because there's really not much to talk about. So that kind of tells you a lot. But to keep it again short and simple, I feel like this movie, because it was being rushed, I feel like what happened, another theory, is that they had the movie, but then when they cut, or they reduced her screen time, instead of, I guess making up for that time that was cut, they replaced it with scenes of the first movie. So with that being said, you really don't need to watch the first Aquaman if you want to watch this movie, because it literally covers that. They cover most of those scenes, and it's like, oh hey, this is neat, great, and again, that's why I'm like, I don't think that did so well. For me personally, I still feel like with the actors themselves, the one that outshined almost everybody and probably, was my favorite of this movie was Patty Wilson himself. I'm like, and I'm not just saying that because he made a song with Ghost, and he's a rock fan and all of that. But no, I feel like because we see Patty Wilson, in the first Aquaman, and then we see him on here, he took the role serious, but he still brought that character of Orm, of how he is. He didn't change that persona much. Jason Momoa's, Arthur Curry changed a lot in this movie. And I don't know how I feel about it. I have no hate towards Jason Momoa. I love the man. I follow him on TikTok, obviously. No hate whatsoever. I don't know what the whole deal was with the DCU or DCEU, whatever, that they wanted to do with Arthur Curry, or Aquaman's character. And the reason why I say this is because he was so laid back. He was just like making jokes here and there that yeah, it was necessary. He likes to be a jokester, but I'm just like, whatever happened to serious Arthur Curry? Yeah, I get it. He had problems back then, before he met Batman, before he joined the Justice League. He was just more like, he had this fuck off attitude that, leave me alone. I don't want to know anything, but he was also dealing with his mommy issues. For those that have not seen Aquaman 1, he's beating himself up with the death of his mom and this and that. But it's like, now that, like, it makes sense that now here in Aquaman 2, everything's good, then he can be laid back. But I'm just like, what? I'm like, I'm not used to this, and again, I compare this a lot. And it happens the same with Marvel, Marvel, same thing. But it's not like, how we've seen the growth with Arthur Curry. In Marvel, it's just more like you start off with a fight, like, oh my god, look, it's a superhero. They know what they're doing. They're showing off their skills. I don't like that. I'm like, I love to see the journey of how they get to be great, but don't start off the movie knowing that they're great. Like, it just, again, nobody likes to show off, and that's how we felt, or that's how I felt when I watch Aquaman, I'm just like, already showing off. We started off bad. And the thing for me that also kind of kills the vibe, or the movement, however you guys want to call it, what killed it off even more is just the music that they play in the background. And again, this is something that Marvel has done too, is when there's a fighting scene, they put an actual song that we know, lyrics and all of that, where you're just jamming as you're watching this fight scene. And I think it's just like bad. It's just like a bad thing that people are doing now, and that I feel like that's one of the reasons why these movies flop, because of the music choice that they choose. Yeah, sure, it's good and all, when they put it on a trailer, but if you actually include it in the movie itself, it doesn't do that well. And obviously I reviewed, like, I'm going to compare it with Godzilla Minus One. Godzilla Minus One didn't have any lyrical music. It had a lot of cinematic, non-lyrics, just instrumental, very serious, and it matched up what it was in the movie, and that's what it made it so great. Aquaman, it just wasn't it. And I think it's just, again, all the superhero movies that we have seen. And I feel like, again, that's why Marvel's not going to get back at its peak anymore, because everybody's tired of superhero movies. Am I saying I'm tired? Again, no. I wanted to watch Aquaman because I was interested in seeing what the storyline was. And again, this storyline was actually, like, it made sense. It was good. It's leading off to the events of Aquaman 1. It's entertaining. It makes a lot of sense. I had no hate towards the storyline. However, that whole feeling of being it rushed and all of that, and then again the ego, the showing off, kind of ruined the vibe on the movie itself. So, with that being said, do I agree with the Rotten Tomato score? Or do I agree with with the audience score? I would probably just agree with the audience score because it was at a low 78%. I didn't absolutely hate this movie to say, okay, I agree with the Rotten Tomato score. It was at a 36%. But still, 36% is pretty low. And again, that's how the critics are. I mean, there's times where obviously we're both critics and the audience do agree, like Godzilla Minus One, but with Aquaman, it just wasn't that good to watch. Do I highly recommend for you guys to watch it? No, I really don't. That's how I'm not saying it like how I did with Godzilla. I'm over there begging y'all to go watch it, but in this case, I'm telling y'all, if y'all are not gonna watch it, I don't blame you, basically. But that's basically my thoughts. I will say this too. There is a post-credit scene if you guys are planning to watch it. And it's just a little joke. There's no cameos, none of that you're probably wondering. You don't worry about it. And again, I do not blame you if you don't want to watch it. And that's why I'm not doing the spoiler version. There's really not much to talk about, So, with that being said, this wraps up this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Of course, I'm over here rambling about so much shit. But again, it is Christmas Eve, obviously I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. For those that do not believe in Christmas or just don't give a shit, happy holidays, I guess. I am gonna do, obviously the next episode will be a recap of my events of what I've been doing on 2023. It might be a short episode because I mean, depending on how many pop culture moments we are having on news and whatnot, might not be as much, but we will see. Just be careful out there, guys, because I know the holidays can get really, really crazy. Just do not drink and drive whatsoever, because I know it gets very, very tempting. Just crash at somebody's house, call an Uber, get a lift, whatever it is that you got to do. Just be careful on the roads. I know they're empty, but still stay safe. Again, make sure to follow my social media accounts at It's Lielers on Instagram, Threads, and X. And follow me on TikTok at Lielers. Lielers on TikTok. Oh, and by the way, I did posted that video of Cosmo tearing up my presents, so to say. And that is my Christmas video, by the way. But full disclosure, no presents, no actual presents were harmed in the making of the video. So definitely go check out that video if you guys have TikTok, and again, follow me. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will talk to you guys on the next one.